Introduce yourselves.
I'm Bob Johnson.
And I'm Barbara.
Why did you guys decide to uproot from your family and help plant a church halfway across the country?
We've been asked that question before. Well, we just felt that it was God's call in our life, and we wanted to finish strong. And as I've told Barbara, we'd rather wear out than rust out. So we heard the call and the opportunity for opening a new church, and we thought this would be a great way to finish out the last season of our life.
How have you guys stayed motivated all of these years to serve Christ faithfully?
Well, it really hasn't always been, or we haven't always been motivated. I can tell a story on myself that's not quite attractive, but years ago when we were looking for a church, Bob was interested in this smaller church. And I knew that with a smaller church, they were going to have needs. And I said, I'm really not interested in walking in because they'll say, here's somebody, let's get her making coffee in the kitchen. Wow, what self-centeredness. And I was not at the stage where Pastor Mike talked about being at any time, any place, anything. And I was far from it at that point, but the Holy Spirit's done a major job in moving me to understand anything, any place, any time. But from the world's point of view, leaving it didn't make sense because our family was there. We loved our home, we loved our neighbors, and we loved the church. In fact, there was a good pastor there, preaching pastor, Pastor Mike Barbra. So we were living tall, and so there really wasn't a reason from the world's point of view for us to move at all.
Pastor Mike's almost as good as the pastor we have now.
How has your faith grown over the last 2 years since committing yourselves to serving Christ through church planting?
So much. Way more than I thought it would. And it's just seeing how God has orchestrated everything.
Yes.
And I loved how before we started, when this was just an idea and that we were moving to New Braunfels, how we gathered together as a group and bonded and started praying. And there's nothing that brings people together more than praying together.
Yeah.
And those weekly prayer meetings that we had, and sometimes they were all church prayer meetings, but it was a group that was going, that were praying, and we bonded so closely. And then to come to see how things were orchestrated. I remember how you, Pastor Hayden, were so concerned about getting a music director. And you interviewed a few people and they didn't fit. And we get here and there's one already here.
Yeah.
But to see things come together and see how God has orchestrated things, it's just a thrill to be a part of that and to see that happen.
What counsel would you give to someone who isn't sure why you two would do something as life-changing and challenging as serving a church plant at this stage in your life?
Yeah.
Well, I would liken it to this, is that a long time ago, I used to run marathons, and I run a bunch of 10Ks as well. And I always remember when I saw the finish line, how you would dig deep and sprint across that finish line. And we can look at our life and our season of life right now, and we know the finish line is out there because we've lived a lot more yesterdays than we'll have tomorrows. And I would like to sprint, metaphorically speaking. My sprinting days are open, but I would like to sprint across that line. We would like to sprint across that line. And so it's a great joy to be in this season of life and being able to do something that has eternal consequences and not just temporal.
I think, too, that in spite of age or any other disability, it's not a disability, but no matter what your circumstances. It's just so amazing that God can use us, crackpots and all, but that at any age that we can still be of use, and that He's got work for us to do, and that we get to do it. It's such a privilege to be used and to be present, and to be available. It's just very exciting, and the reward. Not that you're looking for a reward, but it is there in Technicolor, seeing what God does with the folks that He's assembled. And if He wants to get the job done, He'll get it done, using all the resource.